There's a style of edit that I've been working on for the past 4 years, and when I shared how to create this style, it blew up my Instagram. People absolutely loved it. And it was actually a result for what grew my Instagram from 2,000 to 10,000 followers in less than 3 months. The only complaint that I got is people can't pause the video to follow along with the steps, so that's why I'm creating this video. I'm gonna give you a step-by-step guide of how to create this look from start to finish in Photoshop. All right, let's go get started. Okay, so when I come into Photoshop, I'm gonna first go up to where it says File. I'm gonna hit New, and then now I'm going to set my width to 10,800, and then I'm going to set my height to 1350, and then resolution to 100, and from here, all I'm gonna do is hit create. Now to create my 4x5 sections, I'm gonna go up to where it says view. I'm gonna go to guides, new guide layout, and I'm gonna set my columns to 10 and my rows to 0. That's gonna be completely checked off. Then I'm gonna hit OK. Now to make sure that when we export, these are individual 4x5 photos, we're gonna go and slice our photos. So we're gonna come down to the 5th button here on our left side panel, and we're gonna click on that, and it says slice tool. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come down to our white box, we're gonna right click, and then we're gonna hit divide slices. Now we're gonna hit divide vertically into, this number will be 10, hit OK. And now we're gonna have our individual 4x5 photos. Now this is where things really get fun. Now we're gonna go into our file, drag in our photos that we wanna select. So let's say I want this one. And when you drag in your photo, you have to make sure that this check mark here is checked. And now what that's gonna allow you to do is move around your photo, and it's going to allow you to go back into your file, drag and drop another photo into the set. Just like you can see here, even though we moved our other photo, the check mark isn't checked. So if I try and drag this, nothing's gonna happen. So we gotta go back into Photoshop, check mark this, and now we can go into our file here, drag our photo, perfect. So now we're gonna drag this over here, and I'm gonna select the subject and just kind of blend him into the next scene. So I'm gonna hit check mark there. Let's just work with these 2 photos here to start. So now I love to blend in my photos from one scene to the next. I just feel like it looks so cool as somebody's scrolling. They just see it flowing so seamlessly. And so we're gonna create that here, and I'm gonna show you kind of the tips and tricks of how we're gonna do that. So we're gonna click on this photo here, and then we're gonna hit Command J on our keyboard. And what that's gonna do is it's gonna duplicate the layer, because what we're gonna do is select our subject and then blend in the entire background. So now with this layer selected here, we're gonna go up to Select. We're going to hit subject. Now what it's gonna do is it's going to give us a pretty good outline of our subject, but you can see that there's a few parts that it is missing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go down to our 4th tool here. We're gonna go to the quick selection tool. So we're gonna click on that. And now when we click here, we can select more of what we want. So I want that dirt bike rim here. And then you can see that it's selected a little bit too much in this area. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hit Option on my keyboard and then click. Just removing that, and just for the sake of time, I'm not gonna make this completely perfect, but you kind of get the point. This, you know, probably I'll select the whole tire here. You can really go all out with your selections, but for the sake of time, we're just gonna say that this looks good. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is you're gonna come down to where it says layer mask here, and we're gonna click that. And what that's gonna do is it's going to select our subject. So you can see that our subject here is now selected. So now what I'm gonna do is click on the layer below that, which is the background layer. And I'm going to hit the layer mask again. And now I'm gonna hit B on my keyboard or come over and click the brush tool. I'm going to make this brush bigger and very soft. So my hardness is set to 0 and the flow up here is set to 25. Now to make sure that you're painting out, you want to make sure that these squares here are changed from white to black, because when it's set to black, that means that you're painting out instead of painting in. Okay, so we flip that there, and now we're going to start painting. So because it's super feathered, you can see that this blends really nicely into the scene. This looks super cool already. I'm stoked on this. That's crazy. Now I'm gonna zoom in and just ever so slightly feather in that dirt trail here. Feather, feather, feather. And you can get super meticulous with this. You can go all out, or you can just make it very gradual. It's totally up to you how you want to create this. Now what I like to do is I like to drag my image over. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to select both layers by hitting Control or Command and then clicking. And then I'm gonna click on the top part of this box here, just to make sure that it's grabbing both layers. And then I'm gonna drag this over. And I'm actually going to feather out the background even more. So if I want to do that, come down, click on this white box here beside your image. We're going to hit B on our keyboard again. And this is where we're really going to brush this in. Ooh, that's so sweet. Now you'll notice that we could have a problem here. So when we zoom into our photo here, you can see that obviously our mask, isn't pulling too great on the fender there, which is fine. If we wanted to, we could turn this box from black to white and paint in again. We could paint in our fender, just paint that in a bit more if we so chose to. But the thing that I'm noticing, and I really want to mention, is this right here. So as we brushed out that scene, what's happening, it's revealing the edge of this other frame. So what we want to make sure of doing is that that's covered, because we want it to look really seamless, like it's flowing together. So I'm going to flip this from black to white. Now I'm going to paint this in here, and you can see that just because the backgrounds, especially within the skies, the tones all match together, which is going to create a really seamless looking transition between photos. That's one thing that I noticed. If you don't have a great seamless transition between like sky to sky or different changing environments, you're gonna have to get really particular on your subject selections. But for this, the skies are both same color. It actually blends extremely well. I'm really happy with that. So now you can see we have no line up in there. And now when we go out, let's just say that this is all perfect in that area. Look at how cool that looks. It actually looks like that dirt trail is flowing into this next photo, but it was actually from this original photo here. So it actually flows in super well. Now let's say that we're super happy with this layout and we got all the photos just the way that we want. We're gonna go up to File again. We're gonna go to Export. We're gonna go to Save for Web. We're gonna make sure that JPEG is selected here. We're gonna make sure that our quality is set to 100. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna hit save it to our file. And now when we come into the folder, you're gonna see these 10 different 4x5 images. So this template works great if you wanna post a series of 3 images on your main feed, or if you wanna use this for carousels, you can just select the boxes that actually have an image and then just disregard everything that's white. And that's all there is to it. It's not super in depth, but it does look super cool on your Instagram. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if there is something else that you wanna see, let me know in the comments and I'll try and create that for you. All right, catch you guys in the next one. Peace.